CityCast Philly is brought to you today by Jones Dairy Farm. They're a seventh-generation family-owned and operated premium meat maker with products like dried-aged bacon, all-natural sausage, and America's favorite center-cut Canadian bacon. And they make sausage available in pork, chicken, and turkey. There's no preservatives, additives, MSG, nitrates, fillers, and they only use fresh ingredients. Find out more at jonesdairyfarm.com. That's jonesdairyfarm.com, making breakfast better since 1889. Today on CityCast Philly, Mayor Sherrell Parker unveils a new city website, more security at Christmas Village, and it's raining cats and more cats. The incredible discovery animal control found in one South Philly home. It's Friday, December 20th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week is Matt Katz, executive producer of CityCast Philly. Hey, Matt.
What's up, Trinae?
This is our last Friday News Roundup of 2024.
Yes.
How you feeling about this year?
Well, I'm a little tired, so I'm looking forward to 2025. You know, I was trying to see if we could kind of sum up the year for Philadelphia, and the first place my mind went to is just sports, and we didn't have any sports championships, so therefore it was a failed year in Philadelphia. But I guess there's other things we could look at.
Yes, historic win for Mayor Sherrell Parker.
That's right.
Our 100th mayor and the first Black woman to be mayor in Philly.
And the first female mayor of any sort, correct?
Yes. Okay, well, here's a sports one. Jason Kelsey retired after 13 seasons.
Right.
But still buzzing around the city. Joel Embiid, do you remember this? He had a 70-point game, which was like a record.
Yeah, that was this year.
He beat out Wilt Chamberlain's 76ers record.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of this year. It took us to the playoffs, but we lost. Then there was Mayor Parker's return to the office policy for all city workers, which some people were pushing back on. Some people were into it.
Mm-hmm.
The Greyhound bus station moved around the city.
Oh, my goodness. That's a saga we'll be covering next year for sure.
Yeah. We had the eclipse happen. Did you get to see it?
No.
You didn't? Oh.
Did you?
I did. I was over in Breedtown, Strawberry Mansion area.
How was it?
It was cool.
Okay.
Another big story, University of Arts closed. That caused so much destruction.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we don't even know how that all went down. And we don't know what's going to happen to all of these buildings in the center of town that the University of Arts owned. What will they turn into? Who's going to buy them? And these poor students still left in the lurch. Terrible.
Yeah. We had the Olympics over the summer, citywide cleanup. And remember, it was so hot. We had 700 plus days without snow.
Yep.
I'm hoping for snow.
And then like 2 months without rain in the fall.
Yes.
Strange weather this year for sure.
All right, we have to talk politics here.
Yep.
Governor Josh Shapiro was not picked as Harris's VP pick.
Right. We were the center of the political universe for some time, and then we sort of disappeared off the face of the earth. Shapiro did not get picked to be the running mate. Pennsylvania didn't really matter when it came to the presidential election, and that Trump won decisively. So we're back to just being Philadelphia, and we no longer have national news outlets here every day reporting on our political whims and feelings.
Right. Sixers Arena, legislation approved. And we have to talk about some highlights here on the team. I ate a bunch of cheesesteaks. Abby drank at a bunch of coffee shops. And Matt, you joined us on the team.
Yes. And that's been the highlight of my year. So happy to be here.
All right. Well, that was kind of like a brief year in review. But let's talk about what happened in the city this week.
Yeah, the mayor unveiled a new website, and that sort of gives us a statistical measure of how the year is going in Philadelphia. The website is Philly Stat 360, and it gives metrics on how the city's doing. There's all kinds of stats on here. It's pretty cool in terms of a transparency thing. Shows a lot of promise that we can, just go online and see what's going on, and we don't have to filter through statements or whatnot. We could actually see the real data. So few things I wanted to highlight. Through November, we saw a 37% drop in homicides this year, which not good enough, but still certainly positive news. We had more retail thefts in every month this year except for August, compared to the prior year. Because it seemed also like retail thefts were not getting the same sort of attention as they had the year before, but apparently the numbers are up. So that's something to keep an eye on. The percentage of trash, according to the city, picked up on time was 99 or 100% every month this year, except for January. Do we buy that number?
I don't know about that. We had some issues, especially with the citywide cleanup over the summer, and we're in the second phase of it right now, so I'm not sure.
I wonder, I don't know exactly what on time means. Like, do they pick it up that day? I've certainly had my trash picked up sometimes like into the evening.
And then we have to account for holidays, which I'm sure that they account for.
For sure.
Yeah.
There were 7.4 miles of new and resurfaced bike lanes created this year in the city of Philadelphia through September. Over the course of the fiscal year, this is an interesting number, there were 3,724 trees planted. That's great.
That's very great.
We love the trees. 190 new affordable housing units constructed in fiscal 2024. 596 now under construction. I'm sure a lot of Philadelphians would like to see that number go up a lot higher. Mm-hmm. The new website, though, has all kinds of stuff, tool around on there. If you see anything interesting, let us know. It's Philly-stat-360. It's not.
We'll have the link in the show notes.
It's not the greatest URL. What other info would you like this site to include? What stats do you want to hear from your city?
That's a good question. I'm thinking I would love to know, like, maybe some updates on Vision Zero. So, like, car crashes, pedestrian deaths.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, more info on potholes being filled or not being filled.
Yep.
I don't know. Could they give us more numbers on, housing insecurity or folks experiencing houselessness?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a big issue. And it's also challenging to get like an accurate count of this population.
Right. I'd be curious about police overtime. I read in the Inky that it cost $4 million in police overtime just for the presidential candidate visits that were happening in the fall. So that's just like a handful of events. What over the course of the year is overtime compared to prior years? What months is it going up higher? What does that tell us about the distribution of resources, the use of police and how they're deployed? That's the kind of number that I'm always curious to look at. So they should put that on the site too.
Another big story of the year of this week is how City Council made their vote on the new Sixers arena.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, are there some things, I mean, we've been talking about it on the show for some time now, but are there some things that are still unanswered for you?
Yeah, I am curious how this $60 million in a community benefits agreement that the city negotiated with the team, with the Sixers, for Chinatown, for security around the arena, for other things, how that money is going to be used in the end and when that money is going to be issued. Some of it is for Chinatown businesses to help with displacement during construction. But we know this became the biggest subplot, really, of this whole arena issue in terms of like getting the arena to open in Center City and City Council approving the bills to make that happen, which, as you mentioned, became official this week. This arena will open in 2031. But what happens with the $60 million that the team said it was going to give to residents of the city and give for the community? This number we've talked about many times in the show could have been a lot higher. There were plenty of voices that wanted it a lot higher, and this city only was able to negotiate from $50 million to $60 million. So now what the city can do is make sure those dollars are used in the most impactful way possible. So that's something to keep an eye on going forward.
Well, I'm actually looking at the Philadelphia Inquirer's sports section. This was a story in Wednesday's paper about the former Temple lacrosse coach who was a trailblazer. Her name is Tina Sloan Green. She's 80 now, but she was the first Black athlete named to the U.S. national teams for both field hockey and lacrosse. And I'm a former hockey player and now field hockey coach. I love this story. And it got me thinking about what's going to happen also to this future WNBA team that we might get here in the city. I read there was a scoop in Axios Philadelphia about a potential team for Philly.
Yeah, this was a really interesting story in Axios about the efforts over the last few years, really, to get a WNBA team in Philly and how that hope is still alive. And WNBA is expanding. There is no reason why Philadelphia should not have a WNBA team. It's insane. I mean, Phoenix has a team. What even is Phoenix?
Oh, don't start. Don't start.
But it's very exciting. Wanda Sykes has been involved in this effort. Unclear what's going to happen going forward, but there were a couple of tidbits in this article that I didn't know. The team name for this proposed WNBA team in Philly is the Sisters.
The Sisters.
The Sisters. Sounds
the Sisters and the Sixers.
Right. Yeah. And we are the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Right. So I love the name.
Yeah, it's cute.
You like it?
Mm-hmm. What's the mascot going to be, though?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right.
Also, the Sixers owners are supposedly a bit involved in this effort. So definitely going to keep an eye on it. Oh, and did you know did you know what they want the motto to be? Trust the progress, which is a play off of trust the process, the Joel Embiid Sixers motto over the last few years. A process that is not turning out to work out very well at all. Listen, the Sixers are not having a good year. So all we can hope for is the Sisters.
Yeah. We've got more news of the week after the break.
Hey, it's Emma Chamberlain. I designed these new glasses for Warby Parker, and I basically can't take them off. Like, I'm showering in them and sleeping in them. They're just that good. Go see them all at warbyparker.com. And you know what? Have a good day too. Okay? All right? Bye.
For over 50 years, Burlington's legacy has been great deals on coats for all weather conditions. So before you're caught unprepared for the winter weather, head to Burlington for name brands, quality items, and surprising fits for every family member. Stock up on coats, sweaters, and accessories before the cold hits, so you can finally stop avoiding the elements and start living comfortably. Warm up at your nearest Burlington location less than 1 mile away. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow.
We will not allow anyone to think that they can just do anything in our city and there will not be any repercussions. It won't go down here in the city of Philadelphia. I need you to know that
those were the powerful words of Mayor Sherrell Parker speaking earlier this week at a press conference outside of City Hall about the violent weekend we had. 24 people shot. Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel and other city officials were also there. And Commissioner Bethel said that there would be more security from the police department around Dilworth Park and Christmas Village downtown. A friend of mine actually posted that she and her family were down there trying to enjoy the holiday festivities. They had their young children, and it was just complete chaos when 3 teens were shot around like 4:30 on a Friday afternoon.
I mean, such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Holiday season, a jewel of our city, Christmas Village, right next to Majestic City Hall, in the middle of the holiday season, children, 14 years old. It is not okay, and Parker's outrage is absolutely well-placed. I have no words. We were talking about it as this happened last week, and they made another arrest apparently this week in the case, but they have not arrested the shooter. And they said this stemmed from a bullying incident at a nearby charter school. It started with bullying, and then there was some retaliation. So I don't really have any words to explain it, and I just hope we see a lot less of this next year.
Here's Parker again at the press conference on Monday.
yes, you do know what the stats are. They affirm that even despite this weekend's gun violence, we are making some progress, but it's not enough. The numbers don't mean a damn thing.
Matt, I mean, it's interesting. She said, like, the numbers don't mean a damn thing, but then also we now have this Philly Stat 360 website, which will keep us in the loop of the stats. I mean, I understand what she's saying, right?
Well, she's saying that the numbers are down in terms of homicides.
Right.
It went from, I think you pulled these numbers, 253 homicides this year as of the middle of December. Last year was at 398. So she's saying although those are good numbers, those stats don't mean a damn thing when there's 14-year-olds who are getting shot in the face at Christmas Village.
Now, she did speak about some of the resources and programs that she is trying to help uplift to get kids more focused in that direction and not towards violence.
Right. But, the city is awash in guns, and there's only so much city officials can do about the fact that guns are everywhere here. The other thing that I keep thinking about as we talk about public safety and that I'll be thinking about in the coming year are overdoses. Overdose deaths in 2023 were 1,308. This is deadlier than homicides, than gun homicides. And we don't know the overdose fatality numbers for 2024 yet, but the opioid crisis is still very much a crisis in the city. And we saw that just this week in our jails. 2 Philly correction officers were arrested for selling drugs, specifically Suboxone, which is used to manage withdrawal from opioids. They were selling drugs, allegedly, and cell phones to inmates at Coran Fromhold Correctional Facility. And just to illustrate how these issues of incarceration and overdoses are intertwined, a 41-year-old man died this past week while in custody at the police detention facility on Broad Street. He had been arrested for drug possession in Kensington, and then his body was found in his cell with drug paraphernalia nearby. So a lot of questions about how he could have had drug paraphernalia while in custody and why he wasn't given medical care if he was overdosing in some way. Andrew Pappas, who's an attorney for the Defenders Association of Philadelphia, he told the news outlet Kensington Voice, quote, "The reality is that the Philadelphia Police Department has an obligation to monitor the people that are in their care. They have a duty to ensure the people in custody are safe, and that did not happen." And you remember, Trinae, earlier this year, the tragic death of Amanda Cahill, Roxborough woman who died in a city jail after being arrested with a few dozen other people during a sweep of a drug corner in Kensington. According to her family, she was screaming for help, banging on her cell door.
Her family said that she was suffering from withdrawal.
Yeah. When we think about public safety, I just want to keep the opioid tragedies and the overdose deaths in our city in that conversation as well.
And it's not just in Kensington. It's happening all over the city. And I feel like sometimes you hear a lot of stories focused on Kensington, but it's happening throughout the city.
I mean, you can see it with your own eyes when you're walking in every neighborhood in the city. You can see people who are clearly struggling from addiction and addiction-related issues.
We've got more news after the break.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Hey, it's me, the Quenchies. I'm that late afternoon craving you just can't shake. Wait, what's that? Welch's Grape Aid? No! Made with real fruit and no added sugar, nothing answers the call of the Quenchies like Grape Aid. Got the Quenchies? Grab a Grape Aid in your juice aisle.
Okay, so a little insider in how we come up with the story ideas at CityCast Philly. I said, Matt, should we talk about these drones that have been flying around, or at least people have said that they've seen over in Jersey? And you're like, nah. What is there to talk about?
I poo-pooed you wanting to talk about drones on the Friday News Roundup, and then I'm like, wait a second. That's all anybody's ever been talking about this week are these drones.
Right.
Listen, there have been no drone sightings in the city of Philadelphia as far as we know. No, like mass hysteria over drone sightings in the city of Philadelphia.
Right.
But they are happening in Jersey and in the Philly burbs. People keep calling the cops saying they're seeing all kinds of strange drones overhead. But why aren't we getting the drones?
I know, I want a drone.
Yeah. if they're aliens or, if it's China or Iran or whatever other conspiracy you might have, I mean, I think we should get some attention from the drones too.
Well, most of our news has been on the ground this week.
Yes.
Did you hear about the story about these cats in South Philly?
I did. There were a lot of cats found in a person's home.
33 cats were found in a South Philly home. Now, this was according to the Inquirer. The owner of this home had died. So animal protection officers were trying to lure the cats to figure out how many cats were in this house. Now, what I found so interesting and what I learned is that there's actually a legal limit of the amount of cats that you can have in the city of Philadelphia, and that's 12.
Wow, that's too many.
I feel like that's a lot.
I love cats. My last name is Cats. But honestly, anything more than 2 is probably too much. Wow, 12 is a lot. Yeah. I mean, my house, when we had our late cat, Schmelvis, our house smelled like cat, even though a little bit, it wasn't overwhelming.
Ew, why?
Because cats smell and they poop in the house in a litter box.
Right, so you don't have no candles, no air fresheners.
No matter what, if you have one cat, it's going to smell like cat. A little bit. Mm-hmm. So 33 cats or 12 cats.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying 12 is going to make your house smell too bad.
Yeah. Even if you vacuum, even if you sweep.
And even if you empty the litter box every day.
Every day. All right, let's move over to some feel-good news of the week. And that is from the Philly Specials, who gave out holiday gifts to children in Philadelphia public schools. And your kids got one, right?
Yeah, so the background here is that the group known as the Philly Specials, Eagles greats Jason Kelce, Jordan Mailata, and Lane Johnson, they now have the hottest Christmas album in America out right now, a Philly Special Christmas Party. And they were deciding what to do with the massive proceeds from this album because they're not making any money from it. Every year they've been making these albums and giving away the proceeds. So Jason Kelce, one of the stars of the album, and of course the former Eagle, he calls up Charlie Hall, the producer of the album.
I got to sit down with here at Fitler Club.
Right. You were with him last month and we were talking to him about the album and he was describing how Kelce called him up one day and he's like, just brainstorming on a wonderful and a grand gesture to celebrate kids in Philadelphia. And Kelce's idea is to give a gift to every Philly public school kid with the money they make from selling this album.
We talked about numbers at the top of the show. Tell me, what is that number? How many kids is that?
That's almost 200,000 kids. And when we talked to Charlie Hall, he seemed a little daunted by this number. He's like, yeah, we're doing this, but, it's a lot. They called it Operation Snowball, and they did it, Trinae. They pulled it off.
So what kind of toys did these kids get?
So I went and stopped by my kids' school right before they handed out the toys, and there was a huge table full of Squishmallows.
Oh, so cute.
Those.
Yes,
obviously,
cuddly,
as a mom, those things.
Yes.
They're those big, cuddly, soft, stuffed animals. We actually have a little tape from my kids' school when they opened the blue curtains of the stage and revealed the gifts to all of the kids in the audience. You got to hear this reaction.
1, 2, 3.
So my son, who's in 4th grade, was pretty excited. He's a big Squishmallow guy. He loves all the Squishmallows. Aww. They all have a name. He remembers where he got each of them. My daughter was a little less enthused because, she's in 7th grade.
And she's 13.
How do you buy a toy for a 13-year-old girl?
No, they want gift cards to Sephora.
That's exactly right. And now that you said that, she will be expecting a gift card from Sephora from Aunt Trinae. So she got a really nice Operation Snowball winter hat, and she got Wawa coupons, and she got a little coupon for a free hot chocolate from Wawa.
I love
so that's
it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. So I thought that they did a pretty good job with trying to accommodate the older kids. And also you guys are the best for just raising all of this money through this beautiful music, and go out, listen to this album, buy the vinyl for your friends and family. We love that our Eagles and our musician friends in Philly, like Charlie Hall, spread the joy to Philly public school kids this year. It's just the best.
Very, very cool. All right, what are you doing this weekend?
I don't have that much going on, to be honest, Trinae. But there's this thing I'm looking forward to doing. I have a leftover hoagie in my fridge.
How long has it been in there?
Well, it's only been in there for less than a day. So I'm thinking...
You better hurry up and eat it.
I know, but I'm going to throw it in the oven for a few minutes. I feel like that's going to...
Wait, what type of hoagie is this?
It's the TikTok famous Cal Caesar chicken cutlet sandwich.
Oh,
the one from Liberty
yes.
Kitchen up in Fishtown.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about this sandwich because it went TikTok famous for a reason that nobody was quite clear about. And I was a little late on this trend. And I was actually a little resentful. I'm like, oh, it's just some stupid internet trend. I'm not going to get the sandwich just because some TikTok people say it's good. But then I found myself thinking about the sandwich constantly. And I also told my kids about it. And once my kids found out it was famous on TikTok, they wanted it. So I ordered it for my kids and they ate like 75% of it. They loved it. And while they ate it, I ate an Italian from Liberty Kitchen. That was fantastic. The meat was sort of like wrapped around the shredded lettuce. So it made this like wonderful crunch and the bread was really good.
But I'm curious though.
Yeah.
Because if you reheat it,
yeah.
What happens to the
bread?
Caesar salad part?
Oh man, I didn't think about that. Trinae.
Right.
So should I not reheat it?
No, you got to reheat it. You got to eat it.
It's not going to be as good.
I don't like you wasting food.
I know. And it's not going to be as good. All I had was a piece of the kale that dropped off my son's sandwich as he was chewing it. That's all I've eaten so far. And I will tell you, kale alone, it didn't work. All right. So are you saying my weekend plans of eating a reheated Cal Caesar chicken cutlet sandwich are not that exciting?
No,
well,
it's
what
exciting.
are you doing?
I'm just, I'm going to go maybe one more time up to KOP. I got to find some sneakers.
Yeah.
Oops, I said it. I hope he's not listening. For my son, gift wrapping, holiday parties.
Nice.
Yeah.
We will talk to everybody next year. This is our last
I'll see you next
roundup.
year. Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our producers are Abby Fritz and Francisco Kilgore. Our Hey Philly newsletter editor is Ava Wynowski. And our host is me, Trinae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, really this whole year, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll actually be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.